Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. A few late collapses by our buds. What's going on? Well, we're going to break it all right down for you here on the OZone.
You're in the offensive zone, your place for Leafs hockey.
Hey folks, welcome to the OZone. That's Coach, that's Katie, and right here I'm the Devo. And we're going to hear to talk all things Leafs with you. Well, maybe a little bit of off and on hockey, some rust. They certainly looked a little bit tired. Running out of gas late in games. Katie, what have you seen?
Well, as far as what I like that it's the road trip's almost over. I think, I don't know if it's tired legs, a bunch of stuff out there. There is good and bad. I mean, they played pretty hard in good stretches at times. But I'm excited actually for St. Louis game. They actually will have their full roster. Knock on wood. They'll have their full roster come St. Louis, and they haven't had that all season. So let's bring it on from this point forward. So that's all I have to say without getting too frustrated.
So are you saying there's a chance Richie will be in the press box on Saturday night?
There is a chance of that.
Okay, Coach, what's been going on with you?
So you're telling me there's a chance, Kev? I texted you guys, right? I said Richie looks even worse in person. So look, I like that Mrs. Coach and I were able to get out and watch these last two games in Vegas and in Arizona. The scenery, the weather was great outside. The energy in the building in Vegas was fantastic. It was almost capacity, almost to sell out, more than 90%. There were probably 1,000 or so Leaf jerseys in attendance. So it was, and they do a great job of entertainment. It's super loud in there. So it was a great atmosphere. I tried to capture it. I didn't get too much. Here's the opening face-off. I didn't get too much of it there. But I'll tell you what. It's nice to have a full building because then you see a guy like Matthews, who, by the way, Kev, is not happy the road trip's almost over, set a record. He scored a goal in 9 straight road games, right?
Yeah.
So every time he touches the puck, he gets gasps or oohs, right? I mean, he is unbelievable. It's great to watch a guy like that play and watch other fans that don't get to see him all the time see him and react to it. It's terrific. The last thing I really liked was, being at that Vegas game. We blew a lead, and I know we'll talk more about that. But to come back and win that in the shootout, Nylander with the shootout winner, insane. I lost it taking that video when and I think we'll put it in here. But I got hugged. It wasn't by Mrs. Coach. It was the guy beside me from Windsor, Ontario. Anyway, it was a pretty good time.
That's something. I mean, we'll get into some of the late game theatrics a little bit later, but I mean, and I know Kev, you've got some words regarding Willie's play, but I mean, Willie in the shootout, Willie on the breakaway looked pretty good. He looks pretty dangerous. Talking about oohs and ahs in the stadium, the guy skates with the puck, and it's pretty silky out there. Soup, I mean, what can you say about the guy? Yeah. He's an all-star. And speaking of which, Matthews, he's captain all-star. So we got that going for us. Or at least he's got that going for him. Coach, what didn't you like?
Okay, a couple things I don't like. So I don't know if it's what it is with Mrs. Coach and I, but you see this tweet here. Here's the 5 games where the rookie goaltenders had the most saves in against the Leafs. We've been to 2 of them. We were at that game with Georgiev in New York. In New York, and the guy makes 55 saves. I'm like, who the hell is this guy? And then last night,
they were amazing saves too. They were incredible. Yeah. I remember that game. Incredible saves.
Unbelievable. We walked out of there saying, you know what? They peppered him. It's going to come. The guy stood on his head. Yeah. Same with last night. I can't pronounce the guy's name still. I don't know who he is, but he was amazing. He made 10 saves he had no business making. So what are you going to do? I didn't like that. But I also, more than that, did not like the energy in the building in Arizona. It's a tired building. It was at most a third full. And like coming from Vegas and that atmosphere and then going to the other rink, I wish it was the other way around because it was what a letdown it was. I try to capture it here. Like you see this picture, there's a bunch of blue and white. But the most thing you see, and by the way, this is right after the first period ends, so everyone's in their seats.
Yeah.
The most thing you see here is empty seats, followed by Leaf fans. It's crazy. Even this guy's embarrassed. That's Howler.
Is he still looking for his tongue?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, it was tough. It was tough to sit through that game. And, Devo, you talked about the energy was missing from the Leafs, and it kind of sucked it out of the crowd. There were a couple of thousand Leaf fans there. Matthews jerseys everywhere, right? So, but, there wasn't much to cheer about. And I'll make one point. So I know Kev wants to get into Nylander. We'll do a little counterpoint here. Right. I got texted a couple times about, from time to time about Nylander, maybe not playing defense, whatever. But look, I'm kind of tired of people not giving him his due. I talked about it. He's second or third in the team in scoring now, had been leading for a while. But I went back and did some research. So I looked at his comparables, contract-wise. Here's 9 other guys that Cap Friendly says are just like him contract-wise. And here's a better view of it, just these guys, right? Guys like Pasternak, Kyle Connor. So I went and I looked at some key metrics, okay? So he is between 2nd and 5th of this group of 10 people in every one of these categories. Goals, assists, points per game, plus minus, and then a couple of advanced stats, possession stats. So shots attempted and goals for percentage. So he is among the best of his class of people. He's earning his money. And then the last thing I'll say is people are saying, well, yeah, that's great, but it's regular season. So what's he going to do in the playoffs? He is our leading scorer in the last 2 playoffs. He's a point-a-game guy. What's been our problem against Columbus? We scored 1.4 goals a game. We couldn't score.
Yeah.
We scored 2 1/3 goals a game over the last 2 playoffs. We have to score. I don't mind so much that he's not a 200-foot player. None of those other guys are. What we need him to score.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that's a good point. KD, how about you?
Well, I just think in this road trip we saw a little bit of the non-playoff Leaf team showing up. The team that loses first round. We saw 2 leads blown, a lack of energy, running out of steam, playing prevent defense and prevent offense in those 2 games. I saw in the third game a team not willing to actually get to the net and get rebounds and got lots of shots and looked great from the outside and really should have won that game, but didn't do what it took to get dirty, to get gritty, to come through and beat the worst team in the league. So, yeah, it's a small sample size. I'm not really overly concerned about it, but that's what we saw. We saw like these types of outings will get the Leafs. They will lose in the first round of the playoffs if we get this version of it. And they knew it was coming. This talk about Nylander in the second line. Last night's game not included because that's a weird one where a goalie stole a game. But for the other 2 games, we saw the coach hiding line 2 from own zone draws. So if you take a look at the Vegas game as an example. Nylander, we'll pick on Nylander, but it's the whole line. He had 54% of the draws in the offensive zone. They are hiding that line in their own zone, and Tavares is winning 2/3 of all the draws. They still, in this case, Nylander outshot. It was a -8 on shots. Tavares was a -10, and Kerfoot was a -7. Again, these guys had been the best, most consistent line the Leafs have had. They laid an egg. Nylander at least is scoring, great breakaway goals, shootout goals. But in the playoffs, no shootout, and 2, you don't get breakaways, and you don't get behind D in the playoffs. So, yeah, I just like to see them get back to the way they were doing it because they really were dominating. Those advanced stats, line 2 were maybe one of the best in the league. And there's no secret when they're not that way, Leafs lose games. And they don't come through. So
it's a good point, Kev. I'm similar to you. I'm not going to sort of belabor too much of the loss. You got to lose some games, and teams are going to lose some games on the road in January and February, in sort of the dog days. But I do think some of the fatigue, some of the COVID things have hurt this team. Kev, you mentioned that they're hiding the second line. Really, that's by design. When the Leafs are firing on all cylinders, they're going to rely on that third line in their own zone because they've been an ice turner. Like that's been their role. Kampf isn't going to score 5 goals this year, so they tilt the ice and they give it to guys like William Nylander and John Tavares and Kerfoot and Matthews and Marner in the offensive zone because let's face it, that's who we want in the offensive zone. In terms of the last couple games and what I did and didn't like, I mean, I guess I don't like playing against hot goalies. We certainly saw that. I don't like playing in empty stadiums. I mean, for God's sakes, Arizona, this is your Messiah coming home. I mean, Matthews playing home in a year where he's having another great year. Come and support your prodigal son, for God's sakes. I hate losing, so, I mean, that's never a good thing. But I wasn't, if I'm going to be honest about it, the one thing that I think sort of stuck out to me as being what I felt a little bit uncomfortable with was Dermott and Liljegren. I don't think their play matched the standards of what the Leafs have been doing for the balance of the year. And granted, we've seen some rough patches over the last few games all across the board, but I think they've had a real tough time connecting, and that's what I saw.
I'm with you there, Devo. I mean, my goodness, we want Nylander to score. He's scoring. I would love for him to be a 200-foot player. I'd also love Travis Dermott to handle the puck, not like he's not Michael J. Fox. The guy's so jittery. It's crazy. Like, I don't know why he's so nervous, and Liljegren wasn't much better. So you can only have one of those guys in the lineup. Sandin's got to be the other guy.
Yeah,
that's my
agreed.
take.
Now,
I think
the
you're
good
right.
news here is that 3 has looked much better the last few games.
100%.
He looks like he's playing better. So
yeah,
I'll go so far as to say I think 3 carried the play of that line. I think he was even more steady than Muzzin. Muzzin's always good every few games to have one of those strange my skate guards are on shift, and but I've been very happy with the way that Hall has come back from his little speed wobble, let's say, that he had in December there. So good on him.
It wasn't Hall on that winning goal last night. It was Brody.
Yeah.
And, we should mention it. We all love Brody, and we tend to give him a pass. I can't give him a pass on that. He let his guy behind him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mrazek can't go for that poke check. Just slide over. Take the net away. Oh, my goodness. Now you're getting me going, fellas.
All right, well, let's distract you a little bit. Let's let you lay it on the line here. Let's get into some predictions. We got Saturday night, go into St. Louis to play the Blues. Another tough opponent. This has been a tough stretch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tough stretch, and they let the easy 2 points, so to speak, slip away from them. So what are you thinking there, Coach?
Well, I predict, unfortunately, we're not going to have time for that Vegas story. When I had a drink with Tiger Woods, we will get to it, loyal pod listeners. Thank you, by the way, Aaron Ontario, for asking about that. But I'll predict this. We are back to full strength. First time since January 5th. We had the full team January 5th, and then we waived Richie the next day.
Right.
But so we should be good. I hope Marner's good. I think Engvall's going to be decent. I'm going to say Matthews scores again. That makes 10 straight road games that he scored in. And I think we're going to avoid the losing streak that, Kev, you were saying last night. It feels like it's coming. And I think we win 4-2.
Okay, KD.
3-2. Leafs running up full steam with stingy team they're playing against, and Matthews scores. Nothing. Same
All right. I'm calling a 30-28 Niners victory on Sunday. And I'm calling a 4-2 win. 16 gets a power play goal.
Whoa.
Power play goal. There you have it, folks. We take care of you. We tell you what the score is. You know what's going on when you join us here for Leafs Talk in the OZone.